You ever step into an elevator, press your button, and for just a second, you get that weird little thought, what if this thing just gives up? You shake it off, of course. It's just a metal box on a string. What could go wrong? Well, as it turns out, a lot of things. And today, we're counting down the most bizarre and horrific ways an elevator ride can become someone's final cry. Before we descend into the madness, do us a solid. If you're ready for some truly shocking stories, hit that like button, subscribe to The Final Cry, and don't forget to click the bell for notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next, the home elevator tomb. Our first story takes us to a peaceful retirement home on the Georgia coast. Sherwood and Caroline Wadsworth had been together for over 60 years. Sherwood was a bomber pilot who'd survived missions against the Nazis, and together, they built a life in a beautiful 3-story home. That home had a small private elevator. Now you'd think in a commercial building this elevator would be inspected regularly. But in a private home? Well, let's just say the rules are a lot looser. The state did require one thing: a landline phone in the elevator for emergencies. Their elevator had a phone jack, but no phone was ever installed. The life they shared for 6 decades came to a tragic end because of that missing phone. Neighbors grew worried after noticing trash piling up and newspapers left untouched. When police finally broke in, all they found was the couple's cat. They discovered the elevator, stuck between floors. Inside, they found Sherwood and Caroline. They were lying in a fetal position, facing each other. They hadn't died from a fall or a crushing impact. They had slowly succumbed to heat exhaustion, trapped in a metal tomb as temperatures inside rose to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. They were victims of a silent, overlooked detail, a simple phone that was never plugged in. The perfectly placed sign for decapitation. Now let's head to Japan in 2006. A 16-year-old high school student named Hirosuke Ichikawa was simply trying to back his bicycle out of an elevator in his apartment building. He was halfway out, the elevator doors were fully open, when something went terribly wrong. Without warning, the elevator suddenly shot upwards. With the doors still wide open, Ichikawa was instantly pinned between the moving elevator car and the doorframe. The cause of death was asphyxiation. He was crushed to death by the elevator itself, but the horror didn't end there. When police arrived and managed to pull Ichikawa's body out, something even more bizarre happened. Even though they had disconnected the power to the elevator, the car suddenly shot up to the top of the shaft all on its own. The subsequent investigation uncovered a chilling history of neglect. This particular Schindler elevator had logged 41 mechanical problems in the 2 years leading up to the accident. The cause was a perfect storm of brake failure and criminally poor maintenance. It was a flaw in the system just waiting for an innocent victim. The crush of a luxury death trap. You think a luxury high-rise is safe? Think again. In August 2019, in a swanky 23-story Manhattan building, where rents hit nearly $4,000 a month, 30-year-old Sam Weisbren was heading out for the day. Sam was a young man, loved by everyone, with a future in software sales ahead of him. He stepped into the elevator with neighbors. The doors opened into the lobby. As Sam tried to exit, the elevator gave way. In a split second, it dropped, and Sam was caught trying to climb out onto the solid floor while the elevator car plunged into the darkness below. He instinctively shot his arm and leg out, trying to escape, but the force was too powerful. He was instantly crushed between the falling elevator car and the shaft wall. Horrified neighbors looked on, completely helpless. One building worker said the elevators were always jumping between floors, calling them super scary. An elevator expert later suggested that for this to happen, someone had likely tampered with the safety circuit designed to prevent the elevator from moving with the doors open. It's a nightmare scenario, a simple, reckless bypass of a safety feature leading to a truly horrific and preventable death. The Brooklyn plunge and crush. We're making our next stop at 156 Hope Street in a Brooklyn apartment building, where the tenants knew something was wrong with the elevator. They reported strange, jerking movements and unsettling sounds echoing from the shaft. But complaints are just words, and this elevator was a ticking time bomb. On one particular day, Iran Modin and his friends stepped inside this particular faulty elevator, and it did what the tenants feared most. It malfunctioned, plummeting down and landing in the basement. Dazed but alive, the 5 men now faced a critical choice: stay in the broken box or try to get out. As Modin attempted to climb out of the stalled car, the unthinkable happened. The elevator suddenly shot back upwards. In a split second, he was caught, crushed between the moving elevator car and the solid foundation of the doorway. The machine had given him a moment of hope, only to violently snatch it away right in front of his friends. This wasn't a random accident. It was the inevitable conclusion to a long history of ignored warnings. He wasn't killed by a sudden breakdown, but by a known danger that everyone had learned to live with until they couldn't. The mechanic's fatal mistake. You'd think the most dangerous person in an elevator shaft would be a clueless passenger, but sometimes it's the expert. In 2021, an experienced elevator mechanic and his 25-year-old apprentice were working on a car stuck 6 stories up. The seasoned mechanic, the guy who was supposed to know better, the one the apprentice trusted with his life, decided to cut a corner. He deliberately removed a critical safety device called the governor. which prevents free fall, and failed to use the safety suspension chains that would have locked the elevator in place. With the safety system gutted, the 5,000-pound elevator car was now a suspended weapon. It gave way, plummeting 6 stories down the shaft. The experienced mechanic managed to jump to safety. The 25-year-old apprentice, with nowhere to go, was trapped inside. The car didn't just fall, it was obliterated on impact, and so was he. The most chilling part? This wasn't an accident. It was a crime. The mechanic was arrested and charged with manslaughter. The apprentice didn't die from a mechanical failure. He was killed by the man who was supposed to be teaching him how to prevent them. The overloaded party coffin. Our final story takes us back to the early days of elevators, to Pittsburgh in 1903. A large group of mostly young people was having a celebration party on the 5th and 6th floors of the Donnelly building. About 700 people were packed in for a ball. At one point, a group of 17 partygoers crammed into an elevator on the first floor, desperate to get to the festivities. The elevator was designed for 10 to 12 people. It was massively overloaded. Just as it reached the 6th floor, the strain became too much. The steel cable snapped. The elevator, now a multi-ton dead weight, fell 6 stories, crashing into the elevator pit. The cable and the entire assembly above it came crashing down on top of the car, crushing the occupants inside. When partygoers heard the sickening crash and rushed to help, they were met with a scene of pure carnage. The bodies pulled from the wreckage were so badly mangled that they could only be identified by the clothes they were wearing the next day. So, the next time those doors close, and you feel that little lurch, maybe you'll think about these stories. It's a brutal reminder that the machines we trust every day don't always have our best interests at heart. If this video got your heart racing, let us know by smashing that like button. It really helps the channel out. Make sure you're subscribed and you have those notifications turned on so you never miss a story. Stay aware, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. This is The Final Call.